Today we are going to be talking about Huck Finn and how he matures throughout the story.
Okay, so we established that the definition of maturity is when someone has the ability to make independent decisions that follow their idea of right and wrong. Maturity requires not only having your own set of morals, but being able to carry them out in your actions. And we believed that Huck demonstrated this in many points of the novel, and we chose one specific one.
So we chose a specific passage and set of actions that happened. So where we start is Huck, Jim, the Duke, and the King, they arrive in a town where Peter Wilkes has died, and Peter has willed $6,000 in all of his property to his two brothers who are currently missing, and no one knows where they are. So the Duke and the King decide to take advantage of this situation and become or impersonate these brothers in order to get the fortune. So they go in and they're able to fool everyone, and Huck is really disgusted by this action. And so as the story goes on, at first he doesn't do anything, and then he starts speaking with Mary Jane and Sophia and seeing their kindness and how truly nice and genuine this family is. He realizes that what the con men are doing is so wrong, and that he just cannot go on with what they're doing anymore.
Yeah, so Mary Jane and Sophia are the daughters of Peter Wilkes, the guy who died, and so then Huck sees their kindness and he feels disgusted. He just does not support this at all, so he decides to do something. So he steals back the $6,000 in gold from the Duke and the King, and he doesn't have enough time, so he hides it in a coffin. But this really shows how earlier in the book he kept avoiding conflict and letting the King and the Duke do whatever they want because he just wanted peace. But now he's decided no, this isn't right, I'm not just gonna sit by and let this happen.
Yeah, so he actually does the actions that back up what he believes. So after this, he takes it even a step further. So he's talking to Mary Jane, one of the daughters, and she's very sad because part of what the con men are doing is they're selling the slaves and splitting them up. So as Huck's comforting her, he slips up and says that it's okay because in 2 weeks everything will return back to normal. So after saying this, he has to decide whether he's going to tell the truth about the situation or continue the lie, which we know he can do because throughout the story he's been a really strong liar. Yet in this passage he actually makes the decision to tell the truth, which demonstrates how he's becoming more mature and becoming a more honest person. So these different qualities, we were able to find situations within our own lives that kind of fit some of the decisions that Huck made.
And one of the example that I chose from my life was how with some of my friends, I had to step up and be the person to bring up the topic when we were in a conflict or we have an issue with each other, instead of just letting it play out like Huck was doing before, avoiding confronting the King and the Duke and saying that he knew they weren't real, he knew they were lying. But in this situation, he finally confronts it by trying to run away with Jim and trying to right their wrongs. And I just, yeah.
Yeah. So for my situation, I had to make the decision of whether one of my best friends had done something that I knew was wrong and it was going to hurt another person. So I had to make the decision of whether to stick by my best friend or to stand up for what I knew was the right thing to do and help the person who was going to be in trouble for something that they didn't do. And in the end, I ended up having to do the right thing and stand by the person who was in the right. And in doing that, I had to face the conflict of what might happen with a girl who's been my best friend. And so that kind of relates back to Huck in that he had to make the decision of whether to go against the con men that he's been traveling with and do the right thing, or to avoid the conflict with them and kind of keep going. And so in both situations, we ended up telling the truth and being honest about it and really following our moral compass of what we knew was the right thing to do.
Okay, thank you.